The more drones that you crash, the more experience you become as a drone pilot. That's my rule.
How many have you crashed?
I have crashed 3 drones already, and all of them were uninsured. Hi guys, Jason here, and today we're going to show you step by step on how we shoot our real estate videos. So now our agent's waiting patiently inside the house, but before we go in, let's talk about equipment. The first piece of equipment that you need is a camera that could shoot up to 60 frames per second. Shooting in 60 frames per second allows you to slow the footage down, and this will ensure that you get smooth, buttery footage when shooting your real estate videos. For our camera today, we're using the Panasonic GH5, which I love because it could shoot 4K up to 60 frames per second or HD up to 180 frames per second. Now, the second essential equipment that you need when shooting real estate video is a wide lens. A wide lens allows you to make the rooms as big as possible. So a typical focal length for a wide lens is from 10 mm to 20 mm. Our lens of choice today is the Olympus 7 to 14 mm. Bear in mind that the GH5 camera sensor is micro four thirds, so the focal length of this lens roughly translates to 14 to 28 mm in full frame. I really like this lens because it can stoop down to f2.8 aperture, which allow me to shoot very dark rooms. The third and final piece of essential equipment for real estate videography is of course your gimbal. Today we are using the Ronin RS2. This equipment is super easy to set up and very easy to carry around. So this is Alan, the real estate agent of the property, and one of the first things I do when I get to the property is ask the agent what are the main selling points of the property. And by knowing the main selling points, you know what to focus on when shooting your real estate video. So Alan, tell us about the selling points of this property.
Well, with this particular property, what we want to focus on is the large living areas and a large family proportions upstairs as well, because you've got a large upstairs area with a beautiful balcony, and we really want to focus on kids and families with this particular one.
So what I understood from what he said is that I need to really showcase the large living space of the living room and also the upstairs area, because this property is targeted towards families and kids. And this is what I need to do in my video, which is really make the living rooms and the upstairs area look as big as possible. Okay, now let's go into the property.
The second thing that you should do when you get onto a property is to take a tour. This will allow you to gain a better understanding of the property, and it will also allow you to decide which rooms you want in your videos and which rooms you don't want in your video. Before you shoot, it's important to make sure everything's nice and tidy. Luckily for us today, the stylist did a great job in styling the property, so everything looks nice and ready for us. I don't think we have to do any tidying at all. And remember to always turn on all of your lights. So right now I'm just getting the shot of the beautiful living room. If you want to know my camera settings right now, I'm on an aperture of f4.5, shutter speed of 100, frame rates at about 50 frames per second, and my ISO is at the lowest at 200. So one of my favorite shots to do is basically just a push-in shot. That's a great way of like introducing a room or the space of the property. So for each section of the house, I would normally get different angles. So for the living room, I would go in like this, and then I might get a shot from this angle as well. Having multiple angles allow you to have more variety in your editing. So noticing what I'm doing, I'm just pushing in. It's very simple movements. And it's the same thing again, guys. Just that push-in shot, it's so simple. By just doing this shot, you can make your video look really good already. So besides the push-in shot, another shot I really like to do is the curling shot. So if you can watch my movement here, I'm just curling towards the side a little bit. If you try the curling shot and you find it hard to do, a lot of times you can just keep it simple and basic and just stick with the straight push-in shot, and the video will still look really good. And now we're gonna shoot the kitchen, and because the kitchen's a bit darker, we're just gonna bump down our aperture. If your aperture is at your lowest, what you can do is bump up your ISO. And same thing guys, just a simple pushing shot. And like I said just now, try and get multiple angles. I got an angle from there, and now I'm just gonna get another angle of the kitchen from here. Bedroom time. So for the bedroom, I always do the same shot, which is going in from the doorway towards the pillows. And that's always like a shot that will make your video look good. So same thing again, always try and take 2 to 3 angles of the room. So this room has a balcony, and if the room has a balcony, I always like to take a shot like this, which is showing the bed and the balcony in the same shot. Exposure is tricky in real estate, guys. It comes with experience. So with exposure, you want to make your rooms look as bright as possible. Some videographers care about not blowing out the windows. I personally blow out my windows because the real estate agents that I work with, like, they always want their rooms to look as bright as possible. They don't give as much thought of retaining the clouds in the sky or anything like that. If that's what helps sell the house and that's what helps their business, that's the correct decision to make. So same thing, again, like the previous bedroom, I'm just walking in through the doorway and going towards the pillows. If the sun is streaming into the room, make sure to get a sun flare. Okay, now to the bathroom. From my experience, bathrooms aren't that necessary. What I normally do is get at least 1 bathroom per property. I don't like to get more than necessary. Like for this one, it doesn't look that impressive, so I'm not gonna get it in the video. I'd rather get the nicer one on the ground floor. So for this shot, the auto white balance of this camera isn't sensing the white balance of the room correctly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch my white balance to menu. I'm gonna choose the tungsten light because that's the color of the bathroom lights over here. As you can see, it looks much better already. The whites on the sink are white in this shot, and we're good to go. So with real estate shoots, I normally start with the wide lens, and after I finish filming the wide shots of every inch of this house, I normally get some close-up shots. So I'm using a lens that have a focal length of 85mm. That will allow me to get some tight detail shots of the property. And this mixes up the shots in your video just to make your property video more engaging and interesting. So for my tight shots, I normally like to shoot some details of the styling, and I would often incorporate some foreground in my shot, as you can see here. Nowadays, a lot of real estate agents would love aerial shots of their property, especially if their property is in a good location. So what will really elevate your real estate filmmaking is to get a drone. So my settings right now for my drone is I'm shooting at 4K 50 frames per second, and my exposure is at auto. So let me talk about the angles that I normally get with my drone. So one of the first shots I normally get is to get a shot zooming into the property from a 45-degree angle. The second shot I really like to get is the bird's eye shot. So you're just placing the drone above the property, and this shot is really good at showing the overall land of the property. The third and final shot I really like to get is just a rotating shot around the property. When you're flying the drone, it's important to note that you're not just capturing the property. It's also important and beneficial for the agent if you capture the places of interest around the property, such as schools, shopping centers, marketplaces, things like that. What I normally do is I just point my drone at the area of interest and fly towards it, and in editing I'll just place a mark on top of it to show the distance between the property and the area of interest.
So that's it for today. Thank you so much for following me in my journey in filming this property. I hope through this video that you guys have gained some knowledge and some confidence in shooting your own real estate videos. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and please like and subscribe as well if you really like our content, because we strive to teach filmmakers how to gain confidence and earn money through their passion in filmmaking.